ASU said that they are aligning with their colleagues against the Vice Chancellor, Professor Fake. You understand? Who they claim that the visitor to the university, Governor Chibika Mechi, installed against this thing. Remember, ASU also made a pronouncement on it on August 20, 2012. I'm coming.
No, I
am giving you where you are, what you are striking for. This thing you are striking is not what you have 7 points. You have 7 points.
No,
the other point is the unilateral.
That is not part,
my dear. If I think the
so is his word against yours?
No. We can actually fish this thing, and if we get this address and he says no, I can fish it out.
Yes,
I can just fish it out now. And then good. And then the Unilorin 49 that were reinstated, ASU say that they are aligning with the Unilorin 49 who are not getting their due from the university. Not that they have not been reinstated as the court has agreed. Then ASU also went to talk about the IMF and the World Bank policies, which they claimed, citing a report by Professor Akpan. You understand? Which claimed that the the IMF and World Bank economic policies are actually drawing Nigeria backward. So they will want Nigeria to jettison that. Then they ASU went to the EAA and academic allowance, which to me is what they buried inside it. That is the main issue why you are fighting. Your money. That's what you are fighting for.
It's one of the issues.
Now,
that is one of the issues. They went to not the issue.
They went, please, now, I am stating what I know. I am a journalist.
Yes. I'm an academic staff. So
yes, of course. You know what you're fighting for. And my job as a journalist, a watchdog of the people, is to tell you when you err. And I'm telling you that ASU is erring.
Before you tell somebody where he's erring, you should know what he's doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
What I am doing is what I'm telling you.
I'm picking you on things you put in public domain. Yes. And as a journalist, I have a copy.
Yes.
Now,
I'm telling you that on this issue,
then you dwell on your. I am telling you point by point according to how your paragraphs are.
Yes.
Then you went to your 2009 agreement, which ASU also acknowledged that 2 points only 2 out of the 8-point agreement had been implemented.
Yes.
You understand? Mind you, you use your mouth. You here now say that it is agreed to be done gradually. Now they went also the last
the period is spent.
Good. You went ASU went again now to conclude with the statement that calling for the sack of all IMF they claim people who they claim to be IMF agents and World Bank agents in Nigeria, to sack them forthwith. Do you understand? They also another thing I highlighted. I've already highlighted the 26% of the economy that should be dedicated to your sector. And I am beginning to ask, how come you only pick this agreement? Is it because you are looking for social empathy or moral suasion or trying to discredit anybody? You are only dwelling on the 2009 agreement, and in a almost 2,600 word presentation that your president read. You had all these points and you couldn't pick on it. You are not telling Nigerians the truth.
I don't know if
you want to dribble Nigerians to now believe that it is reneging on agreement.
I think it is
Meanwhile, you use the word also in that statement. Fage used the word that that the governor of you are resisting the dictatorial. I'm quoting you. Dictatorial and despotic tendencies of the governor of Rivers State. You also use such a word on the University of Ilorin. Why are you not bringing all these things on board? Is it because maybe people like Amechi are now on your side?
If you are saying that if you are trying to assess comments that have been made by...
It's not about comments. This is a categorical statement.
This is the statement. It's not.
He's listed 7 things.
It's not.
He's not correct.
It's not.
It's not.
On this strike.
If the issue is... Can I take leave of you and bring the documents here?
On this strike.
Are you saying that the strike is in phases?
On this particular strike. This strike is not in phases.
So all these things are not the grounds of the strike?
They are not.
Please, can I bring the document?
Bring it. They are not. This particular strike, you will recall that, you know, there was even a press briefing by the national president of ASU at the Afe Babalola Hall of the University of Lagos. And after that press briefing, Dr. Fage came to channels here to address the same issue on your news at 10. And the issue was spelled out very clearly, the reason for this strike. Now, the strike is simply to demand for the implementation of the 2009 agreement. That is the whole idea of the strike. Now, the question you should ask yourself is, the 2009 agreement, does it contain all these issues he has just narrated?
Does it contain all these issues?
At all.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So, does ASU have different documents?
From whom?
No, on which they base their strike?
No, it's just one document.
This strike now is based on the 2009 agreement.
That's all.
And according to what you said, it's basically about the 1.3 trillion naira. That's all.
No.
Now,
listen.
End allowance is an addition.
It's one of them.
It's
not an addition. It's one of the issues. It's one of the issues. All right. Now, first there was the issue of, you know, academic freedom, and the issue of the retiring age for professors.
Yes,
that one has.
That was when the government
addressed the issue of the 70-year issue. Now, the next one is the issue of academic freedom. Then we equally talk about the autonomy in terms of appointment of, in terms of admission.
My dear, this is.
I mean, the appointment of.
Please, you can just go through.
In terms of appointment of vice chancellors, that one was equally addressed. But the particular reasons for this strike is what we are talking about.
Okay.
Yes. Now,
particular reason for this strike?
Yes. Why are we on strike? We are simply on strike demanding for the implementation of the 2009 agreement.
Okay.
Now, the issue is, are all these issues part of the 2009 agreement? I think that's the point we should address.
Okay, we'll take a quick break, and as we go on break, I have some tweets coming in here. Kenneth Egbo says he completely disagrees that ASU is unreasonable. According to him, the editor, that's you, it says you're half-backed on justifiable grounds. It says you're a paid journalist, so you don't understand. Alex Ngundanasa, who is also a PhD, says that ASU's contribution to education is essentially why we are on strike, to salvage the decay in the system. Badru 75, I didn't get what you said there. His Grace Tobar says, how about the lecturers that collect blocks? How have they helped the education sector in Nigeria? And he wanted you to answer that. But we'll take a break, and we'll come back. We'll get down to answering some of these questions. Keep your tweets and comments pouring in as you have the addresses there. And use your hashtag ASU or hashtag FaceOffToday. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Okay, we have, as I said, we have the tweets and comments pouring in. We'll continue our conversation. Is ASU unreasonable in their demand? You can use the hashtag at hashtag FaceOffToday or hashtag ASU as we discuss the education sector. Now, according to this document, which I have on my iPad and on the system in front of me, ASU had a National Executive Council meeting between the 29th and 30th of June 2013. And some of the things they were talking about include the lingering crisis at the River State University of Science and Technology, continued violation of the rights of the re-engaged 49 academics at the University of Lorraine, non-release of the white paper on white special visitation to the University of Abuja. Others include the parlous state of the economy and the government's disregard for its agreement with our union. Yes. But now what you're saying is that your major concern is funding of education, which is not part of what your ESCO had.
This ESCO meeting, did they equally tell you that, this document, did it tell you that we are now going on strike as a result of this?
That's exactly what it is.
No.
That's the beginning of this sentence.
No, there's a difference between holding a meeting. In a meeting, you should discuss all issues that affect you.
That was where the strike was declared.
That the strike was declared as such a meeting does not mean this was the reason for the strike. There are two things.
Gentlemen,
we must get it very clear.
Let's come down to the issue of that you say is your problem, the issue of funding.
Yeah.
How is that your problem?
It is our problem because, one, we are concerned about the Nigerian state. Now, that is our working environment. All right? Now, if you are an academic staff, for instance, who has something to do with laboratories, and the laboratories are not there, facilities are not there, how do you work? So we are talking about tools. We are talking about enabling environment.
So you won't go back to school. You won't go back to
when you have this enabling environment, it will equally determine what you are going to produce. All right? A situation where everybody keep complaining of falling standard of education, and materials or facilities that should bring about that standard that is expected are not on ground. Now, what would be wrong with you making such, a demand?
Let me ask you.
Interestingly,
this was the
these issues have been clearly itemized. All right, there has been a visitation panel. There has been a needs assessment of the universities, which the president equally corroborated. Now, all these things are clearly documented with video clips. All right, and the government has seen the rot in the system that you need to upgrade facility. You need to fund the system properly. Now, if the government have agreed on that and has equally signed an MOU on how to, implement this project, what would be wrong with doing it?
Wait a minute. Let me just ask you. You claim that, because I want to needle this thing out of, so that we get it out of the way.
Yeah.
You claim that it's a 2009 agreement.
Yes.
The Rivers State University of Science and Technology issue happened in August 2012. In 2012.
That is what the business of agreement. We are talking about why we are on strike.
No.
If you are saying what are the issues that are affecting ASU,
so that means that ASU now has issued another statement after the one they told us before they went on strike. How are we saying no?
What am I telling you now? Even while the strike has been declared.
Hello, doctor.
All right, there have been meetings, there have been press releases.
So they have adjusted the stance.
They have never adjusted. Now, if
so you claim that this is not it.
No, I think we should get it clear. If ASU had a meeting and issues were discussed, issues that are affecting ASU. Now, after the entire issues have been discussed, and we are saying that, okay, on the basis of this particular issues, we are going on strike. Does that mean that every other issue that was discussed is the reason behind the strike? They're two different things.
Now, you've had several meetings with the government. How is it that you're not wanting to budge? I'm sure the federal government must have considered some grounds. But ASU is not shifting.
No. You see, when you say the federal government has shifted or considered some ground, it's as if you are into a negotiation. In fact,
okay, you're not negotiating.
To be very candid, what are we really negotiating when there is an agreement? The simple position of ASU is that implement.
Does that make issues clearer to you now?
Now, the federal government has signed an agreement.
Wait a minute.
Now, this is an agreement that is entered into by a government. Are you saying that the government does not have an obligation?
I am talking
to such an agreement.
I am coming from the angle of a parent.
Yes.
My child is supposed to be be in school now. It's one of the supposed to be one of the new intakes.
Yes.
Now, and from that angle, imagine what I would feel.
Yes.
You understand that he's still at home and he's not gone. Now, the introduction from Mr. Fage is that the economy is in parlor state.
Yes.
His words, parlor state.
Yes.
And the economy is in a very, very challenged situation.
Beautiful.
And now you, ASU, are insisting that they finish all this your monetary incentives into the system.
Yes.
Do all that they do within this palace economy.
Yes.
You acknowledge that the economy is in a dire strait, and you still want all these things done before you go back to school. Is that reasonable?
Let's be more objective and a bit more reasonable.
No, that's exactly what I want to know.
Is in a palace state.
Yes.
Are you saying that ASU strike was meant to address that situation?
Are you now saying that these things have to be done within the parlor situation of the economy before you go back to school? That means you are
the strike.
That's the politicization of your...
There's no politicization.
Wait a minute. Is ASU a professional union or political union?
It is only you who is politicizing.
Is it a professional union or a political union?
By now you should know what ASU stands for.
I don't know.
I don't say you're a press man, then it means you have not done the detailed work.
I'm not saying I'm a press man. I am.
Fine. And on this
you are facing the press.
On this issue, we should know what ASU is. Now, and the demand of ASU is simply straightforward. That
it's not straightforward because what you put on the table here is not what I am seeing on the release you have.
That the union had a meeting and issues were discussed. It's different from a union is on strike based on a particular thing.
Okay.
Right. There are two clear issues that we should understand very clearly.
So ASU is not politicized?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Okay. You're on strike because you say the education system is not being funded.
Yes.
Now, there are those who will say that the graduates coming from the university, from the tertiary institutions, are not employable. In other words, they are not being trained properly. So is that the federal government's fault?
If you have listened to the ASU president, you will recall that even this issue was equally highlighted. The man has said consistently that you keep accusing the system of producing what you describe as half-baked graduates. Now, we are telling you, fund the system appropriately, then you cannot judge the system based on that.
Is it the federal government that's accusing you or the entire corporate Nigeria and Nigeria? Even your students are saying, go to your...
When you talk about federal government, what is federal government of Nigeria?
Go to the internet.
What is federal government of Nigeria? It's because a situation whereby the presidency will keep telling you that there is this issue, there is that issue, and all of that, funds and what have you, as if they are funding it from their father's pockets. The Nigerian public owns everything that has to do with Nigeria. They are saying, put this thing into the system. You've bailed out banks before. How many Nigerians have accounts in banks?
Have you seen where
you are talking about something that affects every Nigerian. You said you don't have the funds to do that.
Let me ask you.
So where are we going? Where exactly is the interest of this country?
Doctor.
The thing that can benefit the entire state, you say you cannot do it, there are no funds, but you have enough funds to build your private businesses.
Okay.
So let me ask you one question. Where the interest
you want 26% of the economy.
We are not saying we want 26%. You see, there is a United Nations.
United Nations. We are only saying that. Can you remind me? You are an academic.
We have only said.
Can you remind me? Sorry. I had a question.
Yes.
I know you would want me to forget it, but I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you remind me how many percentage the UNESCO wants for just arts and tourism sector, and how many percentage UNDP wants for development? How many percentage World Health Organization recommends for health? How many percentage UNICEF wants for children? How many percentage that other global organizations want in economy? So if we give the education system 26% of our economy. Possibly World Health now wants 30%. UNICEF wants 25%.
Let it be 50%.
Then we all go and sleep because you are a teacher.
Listen,
and you produce graduates that
one thing you should realize. ASU is not talking about salary.
You see,
over the years there has always been this issue of ASU is fighting for incremental. We are not talking about salaries here. And even if you fund the system to that level we are talking about, I'm not sure ASU as a body will be the one awarding contracts, will be the one signing any of the checks. We are simply saying that put this into the system, let the system benefit the entire state.
All right.
And if you don't have a viable system, you will not be produced. We are saying that make the system
have to go.
Make the system workable, make the system productive enough so that you can get the requisite manpower you need.
So answer this quick question from Ima Sule Good. He says, is it honorable to implement an agreement or not? Quickly.
Very, very honorable.
Very honorable.
To implement an agreement. And that agreement states, according to even from ASU, that it had to be implemented in grades.
Fine, the grades are not being made.
ASU acknowledges that this is 2013.
It's 2013.
Yes.
What has the federal government done in terms of funding?
Nothing except this 130 billion. That 100 billion for infrastructure. 30 billion for
I'm not holding brief from
they were supposed to have released
out of 9.
They were supposed to have released 100 billion as for a start, then 400 billion later.
We will have we have to go from here. Thank you so much, Dr. Danike, for coming on the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
When people are playing politics, tell them to their face that they are playing politics.
Okay.
Look at even where they held their meeting.
Let's
thank you.
The ASU president, ASU chairman from Kano.
You know what
Gentlemen, you've had your say. Let's see if we can take just one or two from the viewers back at home who have been watching and following our conversations. Audra says it's better ASU should just come out pop and plain to what they are demanding. There is no point beating around the bush.
The demand is clear.
Bamidele Babatunde says ASU should please consider the students since the federal government didn't say they won't pay them. Everybody loves Iowa. He says it's Rivers State University of Science and Technology. The lecturers on strike have not been paid since August 2012.
Rivers is also owned by
Henry Njako says ASU has derailed from their focus. I'm afraid those are the few tweets we can take and comments we can take for now, but everyone out there who has been a part of the conversation, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate you. To bring another edition of the program, have yourself a good night. I'm Neo Taigbe.